I never believed in haunted mirrors or cursed objects. Stories like that always sounded like campfire tales, something to scare kids on Halloween. That was until the reflection in my bathroom mirror blinked, and I swear on everything I didn't. It started subtly. I'd just moved into my new apartment, a tiny but cozy place in a quiet neighborhood. Rent was cheap, too cheap, and I should have known that was the first red flag. The landlord, an older man with tired eyes and trembling hands, barely spoke during the walkthrough. He handed me the keys, muttered something about the place being temperamental, and left before I could ask what he meant. The apartment came mostly furnished, but what caught my eye immediately was the ornate, floor-length mirror in the hallway. It didn't match the rest of the furniture. While everything else was bland and modern, this mirror looked ancient. The dark wooden frame was carved with twisting vines and strange symbols I didn't recognize. The glass was flawless, unnaturally so, without a single speck of dust or a smudge. It felt cold to the touchy's cold, even in the middle of the day. I didn't think much of it at first. I set up my new place, unpacked boxes, and went about my business. But after the third night, I began to notice something was off. I'd catch movement in the mirror that didn't match mine, like I'd be brushing my teeth, and in the reflection, my hand was still. Or I'd turn my head, and the reflection would hesitate, just for a fraction of a second, before following. One night, I was standing in front of the mirror after a shower, towel wrapped around my waist. I leaned in to wipe away some condensation from the surface, and as I did, I blinked. Only, the reflection didn't. It just stared back unblinking. My heart skipped a beat. I froze. I stared, unblinking myself now, trying to catch it again, but everything looked normal. I chalked it up to exhaustion. I hadn't been sleeping well since moving in. The place had odd noises, creaking floorboards, taps turning on for a second then shutting off, faint whispers in the hallway when no one was around. All of it could be explained away, I told myself. Old building, water pipes, neighbors through thin walls. But the mirror kept acting strange, more than strong. My reflection began showing expressions I wasn't making. Once, I smiled politely at my own image as a joke, and the reflection smirked back, wide and sinister. I stepped back, horrified, but the reflection stood still, grinning, just a second too long before it mirrored my retreat. I started covering the mirror at night. An old bedsheet thrown over it made me feel safer, but even that wasn't enough. I'd hear noises from under the sheet, like breathing or the faint scratching of nails on glass. One night, I had a nightmare where I stood in front of the mirror, and my reflection reached out of the frame, its fingers clawing at the air, trying to pull me in. When I woke up, the bedsheet was on the floor, and the mirror was uncovered. I decided to move it into storage. I dragged the mirror into the building's basement, an area I rarely visited, because it was damp, dark, and smelled of mildew. I leaned the mirror against the wall, covered it with a tarp, and left it there, relieved to have it out of my space. That night was the first night I slept without waking up in a panic, but peace didn't last long. I started seeing my reflection in places where there was no mirror. Dark windows at night, the glossy screen of my TV, puddles on the street, always that same face but sometimes just slightly off. Eyes wider than mine, mouth twitching in a grin I wasn't making. It was like my reflection had followed me. I went back to the basement the next day, thinking I'd lost my mind and maybe needed to destroy the damn thing. But the mirror wasn't there. I searched every corner of the storage area, even asked neighbors if someone had taken it, but nobody had seen a thing. I called the landlord, and he finally opened up. When I mentioned the mirror, he went quiet for a long time. "That thing came with the building," he said finally. "I don't know who brought it here, but every tenant who's tried to move it ends up worse off. You should have just left it alone." Worse off? What the hell did that mean? I begged him for more information, but he refused. Just told me to pray and don't trust what you see. Things escalated quickly after that. One evening, I walked into the hallway and saw the mirror was back, leaning against the wall exactly where it had been before. No one had keys to my unit but me. I stood there staring, heart pounding. My reflection didn't move. It stared at me with eyes full of hate. I reached forward, testing it, slowly raising my right hand. The reflection lifted the left, but at a delay, a full 2 seconds late. Then it smiled. A long, cold, inhuman smile that stretched too far. I ran. I grabbed a hammer and came back swinging, smashing the mirror into shards. The sound was deafening. The glass exploded, and for a second, I swear I heard a scream, not mine, coming from the shards. The pieces bled, thick black liquid pooling on the floor like ink. I didn't sleep at all that night. I tossed every shard into the trash, wrapped in cloth, far away from my home. But it didn't end there. In my dreams, I'm still in front of the mirror. My reflection is still intact, still whole, watching me. Sometimes it speaks, but no sound comes out. Sometimes it pounds on the other side, its face twisted in rage. One night, I woke up with cuts on my hands, deep ones, as if I'd punched through glass. I tried to leave the apartment for good, but every time I packed, the mirror showed up again. Once in the bathroom, once in my bedroom, once standing upright in my damn kitchen. Always spotless, always waiting, and always smiling. The landlord stopped answering my calls. I left dozens of voicemails, each more desperate than the last. Eventually, his number was disconnected. Desperate, I contacted a local historian, someone who specialized in urban legends and cursed objects. I emailed him photos of the mirror, the carvings on the frame. He got back to me within hours, his message short and terrifying. Get rid of it immediately. That's a gate. It's not showing your reflection. It's showing what wants to replace you. I tried. God knows I tried. I left the mirror on the highway. I burned it. I threw it into a river. But it always returns. No matter what I do, it finds me. Now I don't look into mirrors at all. I cover every reflective surface, even avoid windows at night. But sometimes, when the light hits just right, I still see him, me but not me. Blinking when I don't, smiling when I'm terrified, watching me from the other side, waiting patiently for the moment I slip up. I don't know how long I can hold out. The more I resist, the more I feel it pulling at me, like something tugging at my soul through the glass. If you ever see your reflection move out of Sinkovin for a second, run. Don't question it. Don't rationalize it. Run and never look back. Because once it sees you, it never forgets. And sooner or later, it will try to come through.